This is a massive report. After the game against the Washington Wizards, Josh Hart spoke to the media, and he admitted he feels lost with the starting unit. He even suggested that he should come off of the bench. We're going to break down all of these latest reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Josh Hart wants to come off the bench for the Knicks. I know it's just preseason, but if you look at Josh Hart, the way he's been playing on the offensive side of the ball has just not been up to par. He has not been aggressive. It's been 4-on-5 on offense, and every time he gets the ball, he either hesitates, doesn't shoot the ball, or looks to pass it. He's not playing like the Josh Hart we saw of last season. At times, he looks lost on the court, and that's not by accident. According to Hart, he actually feels lost when he's playing with the starting unit. Let's break down the latest reports we have from Steph Bondy of the New York Post. According to Steph Bondy, Josh Hart finally scored in the preseason, but it was only 2 points on 2 shots and wasn't enough for him to feel comfortable with his new role. He even floated the possibility of a move to the bench after Friday's 118-117 preseason loss to the Washington Wizards. This is what Hart had to say about his role with the starting unit. "I'm lost. I have no idea. There's a couple of days before we have until Boston. So whether that's trying to get a rhythm with the starting unit or we give somebody else a look and my role changes and comes off the bench and go with that unit. So just trying to figure out right now, I pretty much have no idea. But we'll see what happens in Boston in the season opener on Tuesday." One of the main things missing from Josh Hart's game, and if it was present today, nobody would have a concern about his offense, is him going coast to coast. The one-man fast break. That was Josh Hart all season long last year. If we got that same Josh Hart now, we would be an even better team. That makes him a threat to be a triple-double machine. And if you get that type of Josh Hart, that level of play, this Knicks team goes to another level as well too. And the starting unit gets better overall. And then the bench unit, if you don't have to touch it because Josh Hart is doing what he needs to do, then that means you have players on the bench that can come in and they can thrive as well. But if Josh Hart does feel lost with the starting unit, if he doesn't feel like he can go coast to coast or be that same Josh Hart that we saw him be last year, then in my opinion, there's only one change to make. Switch Josh Hart to the bench and put Deuce McBride in the starting lineup. That way your backcourt is Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride. Then you have Mikal Bridges at the 3, OG Anunoby at the 4, and Karl Anthony Towns at the 5. There you have it. That's your new starting 5. And with that starting 5, you still get defense with Deuce, but you get aggression as well on the offensive end. And Deuce will shoot that ball as many times as you need him to. That's the thing with Deuce. He's never going to hesitate. He's going to give you that offense, and that way it allows everybody on the court to play their man, and it also allows 5-on-5. It's no more 4-on-5 on offense. Everybody's going to be able to touch the ball, and everybody's a threat. That's what you need as part of this starting unit. If Josh Hart is going to do all the little things, but never be a threat on offense, as much as I respect him and love his game, I'm going to need to see him go to the bench, and I'm going to need to see either Deuce McBride get inserted into the starting unit, or if Precious Achiuwa is healthy and that hamstring injury is not lingering, I'd like to see him enter the starting unit as well too. Either way, if Josh Hart feels lost, if he's not comfortable, if we're not going to get the most out of Hart, then we have to make this change. Tom Thibodeau needs to understand this and make this change too. But something to know about Hart, something to understand. Last year, when he wasn't doing what he needed to do with the starting unit and he didn't have that much offense, he was saying, he went to the media and made it known that he was not feeling involved on the offense. And after he made that statement, a couple of games later, he was doing everything you wanted to see him do. Maybe this is the same thing of last year where he's doing the same thing. We know Josh Hart is a major troll, but in this situation, I don't think he's trolling because we're absolutely seeing what he's saying. he does look lost on the court with the starting unit. And I think he would thrive more with the bench because he would have more of a distinct role. He would understand exactly what he needs to do. Switching him out for Precious or Deuce McBride makes a lot of sense. But Hart, when he was asked why his offense looks the way it does with this lineup, he basically said he has to sacrifice in order for Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, our two all-stars, to make sure they're impactful. Shout out to Steph Bondy for giving us the following information. According to him, when he interviewed Hart, Josh Hart had the following to say: Brunson and Towns are our engine. I feel like we played pretty well this preseason. So I'm cool with that. I just think we can figure out a way where we can be our best selves or whatever. Role or minutes or whatever that is. The second unit as constructed in the preseason is led by Miles McBride and Precious Achiuwa, who picked up an injury to his hamstring on Friday. Hart took just 6 shots in 90 preseason minutes with 2 points to show for it. Bondy also notes, and we mentioned this as well too, Hart made a similar comment last season, specifically that he could not get into rhythm because he never touches the ball, and subsequently he found his groove. But he's in a different position this season, in a lineup with 2 offensive-minded all-stars, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Although you can make the argument that last year he had the same type of lineup around him with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. The only difference there was he was not starting with them. Add on to that he's also playing with another high-volume shooter in Mikal Bridges. We also have to remember, chemistry is an issue for this team as well too. This team was really just thrown together maybe a few weeks ago, really, because you had Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo as part of the lineup almost before training camp even started. And then the trade happens and you have to scramble and make things work. Not everybody has come together as one unit yet. That's going to take time, Josh Hart included. Chemistry and forming that with the starting unit is going to take everyone some time, including Josh Hart. That's why I think Tom Thibodeau is not going to make an adjustment right away. He's going to allow Josh Hart to get accustomed to the starting unit, gain that chemistry, and then see what he can do. And if it doesn't work after maybe 10 to 15 games, then I think that's when you're going to see a change. Josh Hart goes to the bench and somebody else is going to take his place. Who that player is going to be, it's likely going to be the player off the bench who has the most impact. And right now, it's going to be between 2 players. That's Miles McBride and Precious Achiuwa. And with Achiuwa's hamstring injury, I'm looking at Deuce. And Deuce looks ready. He looks primed to have a breakout season. And if he's not going to come off the bench because you need somebody to start, give it to Deuce. Talk about somebody who's earned it. He went to the G League, destroyed it there, then came to the NBA. Couldn't really find that same groove, but worked on his game, continued to work on his defense. And then in the playoffs, he explodes, does better than even Donte DiVincenzo did. And DiVincenzo had a breakout season for the Knicks last year, and Miles McBride was doing better than him in the postseason. If we have that Deuce starting for us, we could be an even better team. And the defense, you're not even going to skip a beat because Deuce can guard everyone. Not only that, his help defense is extremely impactful as well, too. If I'm the Knicks, I'm making this move, especially if I have one of my starters in Josh Hart telling me he's lost and he does not feel comfortable. If I'm the coach, I'm making this move. Although I understand if Tom Thibodeau wants to wait before making this move, because maybe you have to see it during the regular season, not during preseason, before you can make that assessment and decide if you want Deuce, Hart, or Achiuwa to be in that starting lineup. But the good thing here is the Knicks do have an answer if Josh Hart cannot play with the starting unit. I think that's the only silver lining we can take from all of this. But I can understand why Hart is making these comments because he does look lost out there. He clearly doesn't have the same type of offensive game he had last year, and that's going to hurt the Knicks. If it's always 4-on-5 on offense, the Knicks are always going to be double teamed because nobody's going to guard Hart. Everybody's going to assume that when he gets the ball, he's just going to pass it. So why even guard him? Guard everybody else. Double team Cat, double team Brunson, double team everybody else, but leave Josh Hart alone. That's what's happening now, and it cannot continue to happen in the future. I hope Tom Thibodeau is listening because Josh Hart, speaking to the media, this is also a direct message to Tom Thibodeau. Now it's up to Thibs to make the adjustment. The only question is, will Tom Thibodeau do that or not? Will he do it right now or will he wait? That's anybody's guess. But what about you guys? What do you think about the latest reports indicating that Josh Hart feels lost with the starting unit and he's suggesting that he comes off the bench for this Knicks team? If that happens, who do you want to see inserted into the starting unit? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.